Most people believe staying up late is a bad habit. They'll call it laziness, lack of discipline, or poor time management. But what if that belief is completely wrong? What if the reason your mind comes alive at night isn't a flaw, but a signal? A signal that your brain doesn't operate like the majority. Because while the world is asleep, some minds finally wake up. And psychology has discovered something uncomfortable for early sleepers. Night people consistently show patterns of a rare and underestimated form of intelligence. If you've ever felt sharper, more focused, or more creative after midnight, this video isn't just about you, it's for you. Society quietly worships morning people. Productivity culture praises early alarms, sunrise routines, and 5 a.m. success habits. Schools, jobs, and systems were built around early schedules, not because they're biologically superior, but because they're easier to control. Night thinkers were labeled irresponsible long before science studied them. But psychology doesn't care about social rules, it cares about patterns. And when researchers looked closely, they found something strange. People who naturally prefer late hours often score higher in abstract thinking, pattern recognition, and deep focus problem solving. Not louder intelligence, but quieter, deeper intelligence that doesn't show itself in crowded daylight. At night, the brain enters a different operational mode. External noise drops, social pressure disappears. The mind is no longer reacting, it's exploring. Studies in cognitive psychology suggest that reduced sensory input allows the brain to form wider neural connections. This is why night people often experience mental clarity spikes after midnight. Thoughts become non-linear. Ideas connect across unrelated concepts. This isn't random, it's a sign of divergent intelligence, the kind associated with inventors, strategists, philosophers, and creators. While others need stimulation to think, night minds need silence, and silence is their advantage. There's a reason creativity has always leaned toward darkness. Author Franz Kafka wrote at night. Nikola Tesla worked through sleepless hours. Even Albert Einstein preferred late-night thinking sessions. As Einstein once said, the monotony and solitude of a quiet life stimulates the creative mind. Night provides both. Psychology shows that creative intelligence thrives when the brain is less constrained by structure and routine. During the day, the mind follows rules. At night, it questions them. That's why night people don't just think faster, they think differently. And different thinking is where originality is born. Here's something rarely discussed. Night people often possess heightened emotional intelligence. Why? Because night is when introspection happens. Without distractions, the mind turns inward. Night thinkers analyze conversations, replay moments, and examine motives, both their own and others. This builds emotional depth, empathy, and self-awareness. It's not uncommon for night people to understand people better than they understand themselves. They read between the lines. They notice shifts in tone, silence, and intention. This emotional processing doesn't happen easily in a rushed daytime mind. It requires stillness, and night provides it. Night people are often accused of overthinking, but psychology draws a sharp line between rumination and advanced cognitive processing. Rumination is repetitive and circular. Advanced processing is exploratory and solution-oriented. Night thinkers don't just replay problems, they dissect them. They zoom out, connect patterns, and test scenarios mentally. This is why many night thinkers are natural strategists. They see consequences before actions, risks before rewards, and outcomes before decisions. What looks like overthinking to others is often high-level simulation running silently in the background. Because their intelligence isn't loud, night people are often underestimated. They may not dominate conversations, they may not rush to respond, but when they speak, it's usually precise, thoughtful, measured. Psychology calls this reflective intelligence, the ability to pause before acting. In a fast, reactive world, this trait is misunderstood. Night thinkers often feel out of sync with society.
not because they're broken, but because they operate on a different frequency. They don't chase stimulation, they wait for insight, and insight doesn't follow schedules. Research consistently links night-oriented minds with higher independence of thought. Night people are less influenced by group pressure and social conformity. They question norms instead of absorbing them. This is why they often feel detached from trends, crowds, and shallow conversations. They think for themselves, sometimes at the cost of being misunderstood. But this independence is a cornerstone of rare intelligence. True intelligence doesn't echo, it evaluates, and evaluation requires distance. Night provides that distance from the noise of the world. This rare intelligence comes with a price. Night thinkers often struggle with sleep guilt, social judgment, and systems not designed for them. They may feel like they're constantly adjusting to a world that doesn't match their rhythm. But history shows us something important. Societies don't advance because of conformity, they advance because of outliers. Minds that work differently, minds that think when others rest. Being misaligned with the system isn't always a weakness. Sometimes it's proof you were never meant to fit inside it. Staying up late doesn't automatically make someone intelligent, but when night is where your clarity sharpens, your focus deepens, and your ideas flow, that's alignment, not avoidance. Psychology emphasizes that intelligence expresses itself best when the mind is in its natural state. For some, that's sunrise. For others, it's midnight silence. The mistake is forcing one rhythm onto every brain. Rare intelligence doesn't look uniform, it adapts, and night people have adapted to a space where their minds can breathe. So, the next time someone tells you staying up late is a bad habit, remember this: the world was built for efficiency, not depth. Night minds are deep minds. They don't rush, they don't copy, they don't follow noise. They wait for clarity. And clarity often arrives when the world finally goes quiet. Intelligence doesn't always wake up early. Sometimes it waits patiently for darkness. If night is when you feel most yourself, most aware, most creative, most alive, then this isn't something to apologize for. It's something to understand. Because night people don't lack discipline. They possess a rare kind of intelligence, one that doesn't shine under bright lights, but glows steadily in the dark.